A world suffused with life, inhabited by a multitude of peoples, rich and poor. A world of birth, growth, death, and all the changes those imply. This was the world of Tyr. However, this world and the sun that shone on it are dead, replaced with barriers that hold back the darkness, and even worse. In the darkness, terrifying things circle the 10 pillars, those last bastions of life in the blasted world of Tyr after the shattering. Hello there, everybody. Hopefully you can see and hear me, God willing. Let me know if I'm deafening. I changed a bunch of audio settings. And welcome to Tyr, A Simple Job. Hey there, Gramps. Are you playing Rachel today?
That's right, baby.
My name is Goy Trainer. I am the host.
Too close.
Again. I'm horny for everybody. I'm sorry.
Wait. Get back in here.
Okay.
Give us a smooch, Gramps.
Give us a smooch.
I just booped your snoot on my screen. I'm so
right.
sorry, go away.
I took my audio down a
Oh
little
my
bit.
god, when did Rachel get here?
Chelsea said that I was very loud. Thank you for the feedback. Oh god, okay. My name's Goy Trainer. I am programming director for Helpful Goat Gaming, a small independent game design and game content creation community, and I am also the creator of the world of Tyr and the GM for this adventure tonight in the Blades in the Dark system by Evil Hat Games. Sorry, that was very good. What was featured in the lower right corner of your screen was a wonderful art piece of Rachel's character for this series, Gramps, made by Sam, who is right next door on the overlay. Considering I've used this overlay for you all for like a year plus, you'd think I'd remember where
can
you
he
all
and
are.
Sam kiss? Wait, let me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yep.
Wait.
Yep.
This
There you
way?
go. There you
This
go.
way? Yeah.
Yep. There we go. Yeah. There we go.
I'm watching it now.
I like at least, and now I watch.
Okay. Fine.
I'm going to try to run through, because this honestly has been the most important thing that we'll probably do all evening. I'm going to try to run real quickly through Helpful Goat announcements, and then we can get to a recap, which will be as much us fumbling through the dark as it is to help y'all. And then we will get right into it. Some things cannot be unseen, says Chelsea. So, first and foremost, as I mentioned, we are a game design and game content creation community. If you would like to join that community, by all means, use !Discord in the chat to get a link to join our Discord. We do movie nights, we do game days. Rachel reads to us because the running joke is that we are illiterate. I have also just noticed something, so I'm going to, at some point when you're doing introductions, turn things over to other people so that I can correct one thing in the overlay. But it's a great time. It has gotten a lot of us through the cursed era of COVID. it's a wonderful supportive community. I cannot say enough good things about the people that we have in the community. Everybody you see on the screen here, Chelsea, who dropped a poem in chat, everyone that you have in chat, I believe right now is part of the community. It's really wonderful. It's loving and supportive. By all means, I encourage you to come hang out. Besides that, if you would like to support us, if you would like us to have the capability of doing more of this, which money helps with, I do not claim that we can do it more professionally because it's us. Sorry. But if you want us to be able to get better sourced images for overlays, if you want us to be able to get better tech, new toys, expand our capabilities in various ways, there's a variety of ways you can financially support us. You can subscribe to us on Twitch, which supports us financially. You can do that for free if you have Amazon Prime through a function called Twitch Prime. That helps us tremendously. You can share bits, gift subs. All of that is good and very helpful. If you'd like to support us more directly, !coffee, K-O-F-I. Really need to put the normal word coffee in as an alternate spelling of that command. I've been saying that on chats for at least 3 months. It's fine. That will take you to our coffee page where you can donate directly to us. Anything you give is tremendously appreciated. It helps us do more of this. It helps sort of keep the website on. It helps us keep everything running, subscriptions that we need for tech, etc. All of that is great. We tremendously appreciate it. If you would like some merch with your donations, such as this Moontree Isle mug, it's fine. I'm just going to scooch it over here so it doesn't die in the glare entirely. You can use !merch. There is a new piece of merch in the shop. There should have been 2 pieces, but servers were having an issue. Sticker sheets of all of the tier campaign icons are now up, so you can get in 2 items everything that's been released so far. I will be getting the second one up as soon as it doesn't scream at me that it doesn't want to generate the preview, which it has to do before it puts it in the shop. And I'm like, I'm really okay without a preview. I trust you to produce a sheet of stickers. Please just put this item in the shop. No dice. One other thing for people in the Twitch chat, just to celebrate, I really in my heart have wanted to call you in the past tier theorists, but it just sounds like I'm calling you terrorists, so I'm just going to go with an alternate spelling of theorists, and it only works in print and it's fine. But perhaps one of your rallying cries has been to the spreadsheet. In Twitch chat, there is a new emote spreadsheet celebrating that. Because I love you all. Debbie has put together a spreadsheet of tier theories, which multiple people in the community participate with. It's enormously flattering for me, and I think for everybody who plays in these, that you care about what we do so much, the stories we tell, characters we make. It's great. So that is there. It's also animated. Sorry that the text on it is very small. I will continue to work on it, but I thought it nicely encapsulated the to the spreadsheet motion. Besides that, here at Helpful Goat, it is always near and dear to our hearts to promote causes that we believe in, that we think Rachel has died.
Yeah, I had to scroll up
so
a little
much.
bit because it was very distracting.
She's just like, ha, ha, ha.
I like the fact that they're all synced to like a universal clock instead of going off of the post. It would be worse if it was all flickering.
You can
Oh,
literally see my face getting whiter because the TV every time that they appear is like,
Well, I commented earlier to Elise, it's very obvious which windows I'm on. This is a light mode window. Dark mode window.
right, same.
Light
yep.
mode window.
Aha! Oh.
But yes, ! Donate in the chat. We'll take you right now to the Trevor Project. Benefiting LGBTQ youth in America. As always, it is a cause that is very near and very dear to our heart and the hearts of our community. We encourage you to check them out if you haven't before, and we also encourage you to find a local charity if you appreciate or believe in this cause. Donations to local charities do a ton in your community, and those charities also often have a much harder time raising funds. So please, by all means, if you have the time, if you have the energy, if you have the financial resources, reach out, see if there's anything you can do, donating money, time, effort, what have you. All right. With that, I believe we have our first Chelsea tier poem of 2022, and then recaps and intros. So I'm first going to turn it over for intros. I remember how to do this. I didn't just do it like 8 days ago. It's fine. As I mentioned, my name is Go Trainer. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am the GM for this evening. I am going to turn it over to Chris and then go desperately fix something in the overlay real quick. It's fine. Ignore frantic squirrel motions from my camera. Bye.
Hello, I'm Chris. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I play Mook, whose pronouns are also she, her, hers. And I don't remember anything from the last session, so it'll be great. But I'm going to pass it down to my wonderful Power Bottom, who also doesn't remember anything from the last session.
This is true. Thanks, Power Top. I'm really glad that everybody else takes good notes because I don't. Wow, Galway wasn't kidding about the frantic squirrel motions. Huh? That was just over here. I'm like, oh God, what's happening? It's fine. No, focus on me.
Oh, that was me successfully completing what I was doing.
Don't look at Galway. No. Anyway, I'm Rachel. And I use she, her, hers pronouns. And I play Gramps, this sexy beast, who uses he, him, his. And I'm going to pass it gracefully to Sam.
Whoa. So graceful. I am Sam. I play Hux, who uses he, him pronouns. I personally use he, they, and I'm going to take this, gently deliver it to Heather.
Gotcha. Okay. I hope I went the right direction. So, got it though. I'm Heather. I use she, her pronouns. I play Lady, who uses he, him pronouns. And I remember a little from last time. We'll see. And I will go straight up.
Hello, my name is Elise. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I play Mix, whose pronouns are she, her, hers. And we all remember plenty from last session because we wrote notes in our Discord, so it's fine.
Which
We're gonna do.
It's our collective
We'll do
memory.
it popcorn style, and then you will. Oh, actually, why don't we just adopt a Spire practice where we all read it in unison?
Yeah, that I did. So
That was great. Everybody loved that.
I was so
was
glad
very
that
funny.
I didn't need to be a part of that.
Same.
I mean, if you looked at me, I was literally just opening.
You
and
were
closing
cracking
my
me up.
mouth, so-
I didn't hear anything during that because I was laughing too hard
But,
at
but,
what was
Mouth the
happening.
word
it was-
banana, and you'll be
it
fine.
was my fault that it happened.
That's
But
true.
that's okay.
Conclusion: Sam is the worst.
But yeah, so for a recap, we want to, if someone would like to read Chelsea's poem, which I believe Chris has lovingly copied for us into the Discord.
I could read it. I haven't read one in a while. I can totally get my voice to work. It's fine. I read things. In the never-ending night of Shadow Crown, mysteries lie in abundance all around town. Nobles in a tizzy, powers pulling strings, vices, strange ghosts, and countless other curious things. This crew is quickly becoming a world-class gumshoe. Much love, tier crew. I can see and hear you.
Ah, so
Thank you,
good.
Chelsea.
Thank you, Chelsea. And
Gumshoe
yeah,
Green.
what happened last time?
Elise.
Well, during our downtime, I literally wrote my notes almost verbatim from last time. I copied 3 pages of notes for you, so I would appreciate all of you diligently reading what I did for you. And yes, there are things that I'm not sure what I meant. So maybe Galway or others will fill in interesting tidbits. We found out that the Shanty Gang, which I did originally, I figured out what it was because I was like, there has to be a logical reason for this. But I thought that my note said Shanty Garg. And I was like, what does that mean? And I put it in the typed notes. And then at like the last second, I was like, wait, it's a gang. And I changed it. So I almost did send it like that, like, Galway, what did I mean to write? Because
What's
apparently
a
I
garg?
was scribbling too fast and
Are they
garg.
all gargoyles? Is this the
Shanty
animated TV
gargoyles.
series Gargoyles?
Yes,
I loved that show when I was
that
a
was
kid.
great.
And the Blue Devils are fighting. There's rumors of stuff, very specific word, happening beyond the walls as well, like the lightning barrier walls. And also maybe there's a giant skeletal tree which is involved. And we asked if the tree is alive. The answer is that nobody really knows. There's no recorded history of it having any foliage, blooms, or anything like that, and it seems inert. And then Hux visited his contact Costa.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to? Shall I keep reading, or would you like to tell us what happened with Costa?
Well, Costa had been following up on a lead, got like ambushed and roughed up quite a bit. But he was okay. And he basically said that he was trying to, I don't remember specifically what he was doing with like one of the like higher class folks' kids. Like I think he was trying to like abduct or something.
There was a bounty on that he didn't have really like a name or a title or anything. It was just like a description and the district to go find this person in. And then basically when he went to try to claim the bounty, it turned out it was a nobleman's kid who called in the Silvers, who then proceeded to beat the crap out of Costa. And Costa is very confused about why there would have been a bounty on him if the Silvers weren't at all interested in that. What the hell was going on? He very much thought like, maybe not me directly. Like he didn't think it was necessarily targeted at him, but he thought it was a setup.
Yeah. And on that information, Hux then went into some bars in town to try to kind of figure out why this was the case. Why would there have been a bounty on this person? And I believe I got a 6 on a sway roll on a drunk person. Try to get information out of them. I don't really remember what I was able to get out of.
The servant was servant of a noble whose name I don't know that I wrote down. Good job, Galway. Yep. Cool. Oh, Baron Aldworth. Ha.
Baron Aldworth. Yeah.
Elise wrote it down.
I also wrote it down. Okay,
and
here we are.
Essentially, he was a servant in the house, and it was Baron Aldworth's son who had the bounty on him, apparently. And he overheard the Baron screaming at his son about why were the Silvers there? What the hell is going on? How could you have done this, etc. And this felt odd to the servant. Like the servant was like, this isn't sort of normal behavior from his from the Baron.
Right. Yes. And so after learning that, I had it in my notes that my next kind of avenue is going to be to kind of stake out the Baron's place, which I now know where it is from.
And then we Also found out stuff from Gramps' contact, Arabella, who's a sex worker. And we found out that there's a new noble in town. Rachel, did you want to? I can read it, but I can
I
also.
don't mind reading it. I
Okay,
can do
go for
that.
it.
I definitely wasn't just fucking with my background settings and annoyed that I pay for nitro, but apparently I don't pay enough for nitro, so I don't get the custom shit. Anyway, it's fine. I found out. Literally just had it up. There we go. How do I say this? Lilius?
Lilius, yes.
Lilius blog goes by, like, is a new noble in town that goes by seemingly different titles, Duchess or Baroness, and it seems a little bit weird because usually people know who important people are, and that they're planning a super big cool party, or fete if I want to sound fancy, and it said information about her is very imprecise and hard to pin down. We don't know when did she arrive, where her manor is, etc. But I'm interested in going to said party and finding out more. There you go.
And then Mook went on a hallucinogenic tour.
Mook had a bad roll. Got high. And I remember that apparently Mook was running her mouth about like stuff that the U-Lots had been up to. And then I had to kind of do like no, Hux kind of like did cleanup for Mook's mouth running and such. But then yeah, that I can't remember if I like woke up on the dock later or if I was like escorted out, or I feel like Mook did a lot of stuff that
you more or less you got on the variety pleasure barge, started talking, started experiencing the hallucinogen fondue.
Yeah.
Then pretty much the next point at which you have conscious memories is on the dock with like your contact who runs the variety pleasure barge being like, okay, you should probably, and then I believe Hux was there. It's like, you should get this one. And yeah.
That was Mooks's high tide.
Yeah. Heather, I believe Lady had a lot of time with ghosts.
Yes, Lady sure did. Okay, so I went to blow off some steam with my contact Sal, and they possessed me. But it was kind of a strange one. I had a vision of what I think is the lightning barriers falling from, a person's perspective. And I was seeing papers like being shoved into a trunk, and I saw a specific house and people running all over the place. And then when Sal popped out of me again, they were really freaked out, and there were actually burn marks on my jacket, which doesn't usually happen. So that was a little weird. And I went to see Nerix, who is another ghost, to talk to them about this opinion or this happening. And they essentially warned me to be careful. Not that Sal has any bad intentions, but that they don't always know what might be dangerous for me. And so they are going to see if they can find out anything about this weird occurrence that happened with being possessed. Did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so. You also, I believe, went to try to talk to
the gardeners.
The gardeners, who are very invested in that massive skeletal sort of tree outside the city.
Yeah.
And you weren't really able to and that was to try to find out, because you figured of the groups who might know what's outside the barrier, they would be one of them. they didn't really do any information sharing with you yet, but it felt like a positive interaction. You sort of got the feeling that they were feeling you out just like you were feeling them out, because essentially everything they do is illegal. You can leave the barrier if you wish to. You can't come back in because there are monsters. Who knows what could come in with you. Horrifying possessing spirits could come in with you, etc. So it's a one-way trip, at least it should be legally. So they were sort of like, yeah, okay, maybe. And then they suggested, I believe at the end of that they would talk to you later.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that the house in my vision was outside the barriers now, because it was...
based on sort of what you could see, it seemed like that was in one of the areas where things were falling, and they were trying to get further in. The person or whoever's memories you were in was trying to get further into town. So you would suspect that it's in one of the now derelict areas of town that form part of the Deathlands. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Lisa stepped away temporarily, and I think we hit her section. So I will go over that very briefly. She went up with Hux to Stonefall, where he was checking out things that were around Costa having been set up, why he might have been arrested, what might have been going on, trying to get a feel for that. And so we already sort of covered that. Mix hung out in a cafe and just tried to get a read on sort of the scene, and immediately got accosted by someone who seemed to question why she was there, and with the overtone of how could she dare to be there. And this definitely felt like there were some nationalist overtones to this, given her Malpinian heritage. And she made a bomb out of a Demitasse cup and blew him up, and then ran the fuck away, and is probably going to have a little bit of a hard time operating freely up in Stonefall, what with the explosive Demitasse cup. But she did get to make a bomb out of essentially creamer packets and leftover cappuccino, so fair trade. And then I think that was everybody's. So last session was kind of the second in the theoretical Blades in the Dark session. You have a little bit of free play, then you do a score, then you do the downtime, fallout, etc. from that score. All of what we did was the sort of downtime and fallout of the first score, which was in the first session. So tonight we're starting in free play. You can be gathering information, you can be trying to figure out, but sort of what you're going to largely in this pressure is what's your next job, what's the next score, and that's largely dictated by you. Like, there are probably some organizations you do know, either side in the gang war between the Shanty Gang and the Blue Devils will almost certainly be hiring. Oh, that was one thing that was worth noting. The Shanty Gang and the Blue Devils fighting down in the area where you inhabit, Ashtown and the Shambles, the sort of slums of the city. The Blue Devils were kind of a nothing gang up until fairly recently. They've had an enormous increase in power, and that seems rather suspicious. And I think that was from your contact, Chris.
I think, yeah, Salia. Yeah, I'm looking. I have notes on that.
Nice. So you can go over that.
Yeah, it's basically everything you just said. But it's very peculiar. So like people are talking about how the Blue Devils have kind of like come up with all these resources. It appears that somebody's funneling them resources and funds. Let's see, the crates, all those crates were delivered with that mark that was on that crate that we hijacked in our first endeavor. And Then I don't know what it means, but it says lots of death equals lots of heat. Someone is up to something. And I think that was something that Salia had said.
Yeah, so one of the things is, as much as this is a very, the criminal demimonde is very violent, worth remembering, anyone who dies has to be acquired by the keepers of the grave and dissolved within a couple of days. Otherwise, they rise as a ghost who have all kinds of supernatural powers and are normally very, 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 very angry that they are dead. So, Lady, as your whisperer, is very familiar with the fact that ghosts are dangerous. As much as he likes ghosts and he likes hanging out with them, he wouldn't just go up to a random apparition and be like, I'm sure you're not going to try to erase my mind. Whoops, yep, you were going to try to erase my mind. So beatings, really putting the hurt on somebody, it can be incapacitating them. This is very much they will 100% break your leg so that you're not coming into the fight or to send the message. But outright killing is pretty rare because fundamentally one of the most powerful factions in the city are the Keepers of the Grave. And if lots of bodies show up in the street, they want to know why. So the fact that the Blue Devils and the Shanty Gang have been willing to, in this turf war, go to the point of killing is noteworthy. And it also, to that point of, lots of death means lots of heat. It means that lots of people are starting to focus on your little corner of Shattercrown. That ain't great. You also know, as a complication that you picked up as part of your first job, where you posed as members of the Keepers of the Grave, the Keepers of the Grave have heard that some of their agents were in this area, etc., and they are trying to figure out who these people who were claiming to be them are. So that's just kind of hanging out in the background. But as I said, the primary focus tonight will probably be trying to figure out what you want to do next as like an active job. There are some organizations that might have work for you. There's also, just Rachel/Gramps had mentioned being very interested in this intriguing noble throwing this fete. There could be work connected to that, or there could just be a score connected to that. We will... Please bear with us, kind audience, as we attempt to stumble through remembering the mechanics of this game that we played exactly twice and then didn't play for like a month and a half. But so, I think there are in score types, one of them is something around like literally just social. It's like interact with someone. You could try to infiltrate the party and talk to this mysterious person. You could see if there's smuggling work to be done around it, etc. Yeah. I covered some of yours, at least, in terms of you turned a Demitask Cup into a bomb. And maybe want to not openly be in Stone's Fall for the next 24 to 48 hours.
But my saboteur ability does mean I draw less heat when wrecking.
Yep.
So
You did.
Galway, I have a quick question about one of the notes that I took last time.
Absolutely.
So I have what Baron Aldworth was saying, was shouting from the, or at least for what the servant had overheard. The Baron shouted, "Why did Chapman want him arrested? The Silvers, why?" Do I know who Chapman is?
You could give me a simple, just like a straight up luck roll.
What you want?
Literally just like the fortune.
Oh, right. That's a mechanic.
And that's a separate thing. Because this is essentially, you're not in a position, this isn't dangerous. We're just seeing how much background info you have.
Roll fortune, number of dice, 1.
Yeah, just 1.
5.
5. So yeah, that's a good result. You're fairly sure that Chapman is would be Baron Chapman. So another one of the nobles in the Stonefall area. This would also seem to play a little bit into what Costa was saying, that the nobles seem weirdly riled up right now. You've never had you've had very limited dealings up in Stonefall with any of the noble houses, so it's not like you have any particular feelings about this. You just recognize the name.
I also have a secondary question about the entirety of our campaign.
Indeed.
So yes, it is chronically nighttime, but is there still somewhat of like a cycle of like day-night activity in terms of people leaving lights on in their house versus lights off?
Yes, there are still, the day is still divided into hours. You still have the rough equivalents of daytime and nighttime, in the sense of there are always lights on because it's always at best a dim twilight. But you would have the sense of like, hey, visiting hours would be from here to here. People could be expected to be asleep from here to here, etc. So we can refer to day and night, and it's fine. But yes, worth remembering also for the audience, if you haven't tuned in for a little bit, the sun is dead. The sky is broken. Death is dead. So nobody stays dead unless you dissolve them. The sun does not rise, it does not shine, and monsters roam everywhere that there's not a lightning barrier. So fun times.
Are we all in have we regathered at our little place, or?
I certainly think you can say that we have regathered so that you can share information, and then we can easily, if someone wants to go back out to gather a little bit more intel, etc., as we start trying to pick out a job, 100% you can do that. That's all free. So.
Why is there a giant Hux in Stonefall? So big.
Because I don't have control over my token size, and I just dragged it out there.
But there's a little token.
Oh,
I changed out for the little Hux that had been there, though I will now pull you back to hang out on the island that is your home. Pretty island where nobody goes. But yeah, what would you all like to do? It's also worth remembering, you got a base from your initial benefactor, Bastion, Middle Mist, who got you essentially largely abandoned. It's fairly run down, like it's not like it's a really nice building or anything, but that is set above a half-sunken grotto, which gives your boat stealthy access to the waters of the river and the canals. And it also provides you a secure place to sleep.
The moment Huck sees Mix, oh man, there was big explosion. Stonefall, I was all worried, didn't see you.
Yeah, how did that happen? Weird.
You okay?
How did I forget Hux's voice?
How did you? Oh, what, Hux?
He's like scanning you over, checking.
Definitely a little singed, yeah.
There's also just like there are some like like sugar crystals sort of on one of like her shoulders.
Yeah,
some dust from the debris.
Do I like smell the remnants of explosion?
Undoubtedly.
Cappuccino.
I would say that Mix is the second closest person to this explosion, minus the person she exploded.
So imagine if a shot of espresso had been heated to the point where it exploded. That's kind of the smell that you're getting off of Mix.
Pleasant.
Not just burned espresso.
This is my perfume. Why are you looking at me like that? And Mix takes a few steps back and like hunkers deeper into what is essentially, I'm imagining, an oversized hoodie happening on her right now.
Well, either you like your coffee extra burnt, or something's miss here, but you know it's okay. Is everyone else back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Coming
we're all
in.
there.
I probably took a little bit of time at the pleasure dens.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were running stuff also that everybody was in like rough, synchronicity with what y'all were up to. But people can be there or not as they're coming in, but certainly enough time has passed that you can be if you want to be. I would suspect that Mook is sort of like twitching her eye at the corner occasionally, just like, it's fine.
So is this the time that we go through and like try and get rid of stress and do that stuff, or is that not?
That's what you just
We
did.
did that last time. Yeah.
So that
we're supposed to be looking for our next score. So I think
Gotcha.
at this point we should be kind of deciding what direction we're going to follow. Would be my.
Right.
So you all had found some stuff, like you'd found some threads that you could pull on in this little bit of free play before you define what that score is, what your plan is, and what the detail of the plan is. So like, oh, we're going to do a smuggling operation, getting this in, and the route we're taking is blah. Like the method we're using to smuggle it is this.
We just haven't come up with anything yet.
You kind of know, here are some things that we might be interested in doing. You can develop that out a little bit as part of this free play, maybe get a little bit better information, maybe have a conversation with someone if you need to, and then we'll roll into that.
This is Gramps. Oh, wait. Lena said I had to. A potato salad.
I just bowl of potato salad comes up. Well, I say, oh.
Well, I found out that there's a new noble lady in town that nobody really seems to know a lot of information about, and she's throwing a fete. And I thought maybe we could check it
He's
out.
throwing a fit?
Yeah.
A fete, it's the way that fancy people say party.
A fit. She's throwing a fit.
Yeah, also that probably.
Okay. Oh, hey, Gramps. Salia says hi.
And he winks and doesn't say anything.
Is that fit? Is that happening in Stonefall by chance?
Is it? I don't know where it's happening, Galway.
It's happening in Stonefall.
You weren't 100% sure. You didn't really find out, but you would suspect, yes, Stonefall.
I mean, most likely.
There's something wrong with Stonefall?
Oh, well, there was an explosion there today.
Yeah, there was. And he just
I'm gonna say we're all gonna
glares.
side eye Nyx and be like,
Would you like to tell us about it?
Well, he was a racist.
Well done.
I think we'll be fine at a party.
It's probably well, I have two questions. One, one is just a statement. One, I probably should not be seen, and two is a question. Is there a smuggling job at the party? What are we doing at the party? That's the only question. I mean, I think there probably could be. I just want to know,
I second this question. I learned that the highfalutin folk are kind of at each other's throats, chomping at each other's bits. And, I mean, I don't know if that is going to give us an in anywhere, but it does kind of get my fur on edge. So,
Does the fact that they're all riled up seem to have to do with the new noble in town?
Galway, does it? Having spent some time observing the people of Stonefall prior to exploding somebody,
Give me a luck roll with 2 dice.
Whoa.
Hmm?
Me?
Yeah, luck roll with 2 dice because you get 1 extra die for you were there and you were sort of getting a like Hux was very involved in one conversation. You were kind of getting a read on people generally up until you blew a man all the way up. 4 is sort of mixed fortune, limited insight. You did hear a lot of conversations sort of like as people were passing that seemed like they were for like not quite ladies in waiting but say women noble attendants and like valets and sort of the people who would be close to the nobles that they serve, and several of those conversations did use you heard either like Countess or Duchess blog, so Lilius blog. Again, multiple noble titles, which seems weird.
I think it's likely that whatever, I mean, based on what I saw, that whatever's got everyone riled up in Stonefall is probably related to Duchess, Countess, Lady blog.
But you're right. What exactly is our job?
Well,
Like,
maybe
we go there to find information and hope that we get more?
Well, all I know about job seems like the Baron Chapman wanted the son. Baron Aldworth wanted his son. He put a bounty out on. Very.
your mic is not picking up everything you're saying.
The Baron Chapman placed a bounty on Baron Aldworth's son. I'm sorry, my gravelly voice is hard to understand.
We don't
Woof.
really do bounties, do we? I mean, we can, I suppose, but feels...
I will say for just sort of for free, if you wanted to see if there was a specific job opportunity around this fete that's maybe more in line with smuggling, so that you're trying to work a job connected to the party as opposed to the job being like socially just trying to get into the party and see what's going on. The Gem Garden, the pleasure districts, would probably be the place where you could try to push a little bit harder. That's why Gramps sort of heard anything about this in the first place. A bunch of the houses are trying to provide everything from essentially catering to courtesans and other forms of entertainment, art, sort of miniature like drama pieces that happen in like large formal parties where it's like, oh, look, they're putting on this scene over in this ballroom and then the musicians are playing over here. So you do suspect that if you had anyone that was actually going to be connected to this Lady Lilius, it would probably be through there. That would probably be the tree to shake.
So I was just there. Do I want to say that I could go back, or?
Yeah, I would certainly say, again, as a free part, you could, if you're looking for this. You're probably gonna need to make a roll to determine this in order, essentially, because what you're trying to do is get somebody in the pleasure houses to put you in touch with someone.
Okay.
I don't know what you would like that roll to be.
I mean, I'll have to say that won't happen until I go there, or do we just like assume that I'm going there as a...
I'm going to assume you're not getting ganked on the street or anything, so
yeah,
we can cut to the sort of the action parts of it.
Would that be a sway roll or a consort roll?
I'm trying to do better about this of the I don't define what you roll. Technically speaking, Rachel could be like, yeah, I want to wreck in order to do this. I'm just going to smash stuff until somebody tells me something. My response to that is to tell you, okay, that is a desperate position with limited effect because someone's going to come fucking arrest you.
Yeah, I would think sway, because it says sway someone with charm, logic. It would be charm. I'd be trying to charm somebody into giving me information, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Given that you're in pretty good standing with the gem flowers generally, and you're a known figure in Gem Garden, I'll say that this is a controlled and normal effect. You can, of course, do a devil's bargain if you want to increase your effect, or you can push yourself for some stress.
Or I could go with and help.
5.
5.
But I rolled a 5. Don't I get to add things?
No, there's no addition to the die.
Oh, no, it's just how many dice that I rolled.
Yes.
Yes, I remember now.
Yeah. So we're just going to pretend that I totally remember exactly what the results on action rolls are. You do it, but there's a consequence, or no, you were in a controlled situation. Minor consequence, minor complication. You have reduced effect, you suffer lesser harm, you end up in a risky position. Okay. So you go to one of the pleasure houses that you know fairly well. And for this, you kind of figure maybe you'll go talk to one of the more sort of artsy performance houses. You don't know them quite as well. You do find someone there that you're doing this through charm. You're not intimidating them or anything, but like you're having to really push a little bit. So you think that this house is going to kind of mark you out as the complication that I'm thinking is that they note that you have this interest. Does that make sense? This doesn't come off as casual or something that just sort of is like, oh yeah, that they're totally going to forget about that in 5 hours. It's like, oh no, Gramps really wanted info about who to talk to. But you do get a name. Cedric Albentor. Who is apparently Lady Lilius's essentially household manager. He's been the one, he's an Elvish man. He, him pronouns. He's been the one who's sort of talked to the houses and has set things up. And the person that you talk to also thinks that he's actually currently in Gem Garden, at one of the sort of restaurant houses.
Cedric what?
Albentor, Albentor.
So do I get the feeling that A, I should talk to this person myself? B, that if I go talk to him, he'll give me some kind of job or something to do? Like, because part of this is not just finding more information, right? It's finding out if there is something within our crew that we can do that would be job related. But I don't want to go there and have him be like, what do you mean you want to do smuggling shit? What are you talking about?
He certainly seems to be the one who's laying out jobs. If you're going to have a shot, it's probably going to be with him. I will also happily say we can retcon to say that other people are with you. And
I don't mind going alone.
Okay, I mean, like, but if other people wanted to be there, they certainly can be. You can have just, like, gone in to talk to the house. You meet back up in the street, whatever y'all want to do.
Sure. I'm easy.
Yeah, I probably would have gone along with you.
Okay.
I like that you
out.
say that. Chris is looking for something, snaps back to her camera, makes eye contact for like 3 seconds, and then it's like, okay, I can go back to
Thank you for
looking.
catching that.
I think Mix will be laying low a little longer. She feels a little too visible, so she'll just stay behind.
Okay, so I've got Lady. Is anybody else coming? Lady.
Mook would probably come along.
All right. I got Lady and Mook.
Hux?
I think Hux is keeping close eye on me.
Sounds good. You make your way to one of the sort of cuisine house that was suggested to you that you might be able to find it. And essentially, you go in, there's a small a small sort of dining area. This isn't primarily a restaurant. It's more like catering, and they supply food, but they do have a small sitting area for people. You see a very well-dressed elvish man who there are several small plates of food in front of him that he looks like he's just finished sampling, like small bites of something. And he is talking to one of the sort of members of the house, who will sort of nod and scurry away. Now he's just sort of sitting.
And you said his name was Cedric?
Cedric.
Okay. And I'm going to walk up and say, hi, would you happen to be Cedric? Albentor, whatever the name was that Rachel can't remember.
It was Albentor.
Hey.
I also really like the idea that Gramps walked up and went, Cedric Albentor, whatever the name that Rachel could remember was. It's like, oh, cool, you're having a
Who's
little bit
Rachel?
of a breakdown in front of me. Who's this Rachel who's giving out my name? Yes, that is correct. And who might you be?
I'm Gramps. It's lovely to meet you. And I'll hold out my hand.
He'll take it and shake in that sort of very formal, not like a full grip, but charmed, I'm
like
sure.
my
Gramps.
whole hand definitely encompasses his. So.
Oh yeah, no, she's shaking like your finger.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I hear you're the man to talk to around here when it comes to fet business.
Perhaps that could be true, yes. What type of business would you be interested in discussing, though? Also, would your charming companions enjoy a seat? Assuming that you came in.
Yeah, I want to just like come in and immediately just sit down in front of him.
It's like,
and just look back and be like, okay.
Yeah. At the
But I did that
invitation, I'll
thing where
sit
I
down,
turn the
too.
chair around, so like the back of the chair is now in front of me.
okay,
I'm
so
straddling it.
you're doing the full youth pastor, like, hey, let's rap
Exactly.
about
Oh,
smuggling
God.
jobs.
Exactly.
Love it.
Okay. Does Mook come over? Or?
Mook is kind of like I'm part of the conversation, but not kind of like standing in the background, kind of trying to be like elusive and
Absolutely.
enigmatic.
He'll sort of
Lady feels like he fits in just because, hey, we're a couple of Minotaurs, coming up to...
Cedric will extend his hand to you, lady. Cedric Albentor.
Lady, very nice to meet you.
A pleasure, lady. A pleasure if you would like a seat at any point, please.
Thank you.
Now, what sort of business might you be interested in? Do you represent one of the houses here?
Do I look like I represent one of the houses here?
I try not.
I'm just making fun with you. It's fine. No, we don't. We're our own contractors here.
Ah, excellent. And what type of contracts, per se, are you interested in?
We like the kind that work with moving goods. Moving goods maybe a little bit more under the table.
Interesting. Yes, yes.
We wouldn't be talking to you if we were moving them over the table, right?
Literally arranging a delivery of food at the moment, but fair enough, fair enough. So, tell me, you...
Speaking of, do you mind? And I'll put my hand over whatever he was eating and see if I can, like...
It's absolutely like one of those tiny plates that, like, you get for, like, wedding tastings, where it's like, the food is already in tiny portions, and then this is, like, a tiny piece of that he has eaten a small portion of, and he goes, please, as you will.
I'm going to take it, I'm going to throw it up in the air and catch it in my mouth.
Please tell me it's something like with powdered sugar and jam and cream. It's just like a
It just
mess
falls
all
apart.
over.
It's a
all
fucking
over.
sandwich, and it's just like lettuce.
But a tiny sandwich.
I will let you define what thing you have just thrown in the air in an attempt to eat.
Usually, Rachel, I keep talking about myself in the third fucking person. Usually, I don't mind looking like a fool, but I think that this is like suave as fuck, and that he like picks a half-eaten thing and just tops it.
Yeah, so like it's like a small sort of like slice of roast or something.
Yeah.
And very good. I'm perfectly fine with you defining whether this is funny or just weird, or just kind of a swagger move to come over and eat this dude's leftover food.
Question: do minotaurs eat beef?
That's a really good question.
Gramps does.
Slowly, and I'm like, yeah,
Whoa!
Gramps, you didn't just eat that, did you?
nice. Just slowly spit it out into my
And
hand.
this is the third time Rachel plays a cannibal.
I'm trying to tell you something.
So he's gonna sort of like, he has essentially a very neatly trimmed goatee that he's sort of like stroking. He's like, so you specialize in moving goods, services quietly, perhaps things that others don't wish to be made aware of, etc.
Is quietly an important adverb in that sentence.
It's a metaphorical one.
When Gramps says that, like, you see Mook just accidentally knock something over and just be like,
Just grin even wider. Big, like, tooth sparkle.
Let's replace the word quietly with minimal attention from the authorities.
Oh, we're good at that, yes.
Quite doable.
Meanwhile, Mick's back in the grotto with Hux, like
Having blown up
Trying
a
to
man.
place a bulk
Yeah.
order for demitask cups. Really refine this
Listen,
technique.
I think I can make it work.
There are going to be a lot of demitask cups at this fete.
He's gonna sort of look you up and down. I've heard tell in the last couple of days that someone chose to interfere with the Riverlurk's business a little bit. Any knowledge of that? For
Depends on
above the
if you
table
think
for the
it's a
players,
good thing.
that is 100% who you
Right.
stole the crate from.
Depends on if you think that it's a good thing or a bad thing. Or a neutral thing.
or we have no idea what you're talking about thing.
I feel like Mook is just like intercepting like things from like people's trays as they're going to other tastings. Just like,
Oh, Mook is 100% pocketing things.
if my lady had been interested in perhaps quietly moving some items, I had been given to understand that the Riverlurks were perhaps the group to go talk to around that. But in the last day or so, as
But
I
now that
mentioned,
they've been bested, you want the best.
just so, if one is going to pay for a thing to be done, it makes sense to pay for the best, does it not?
Then it's lucky for you that we arrived at your doorstep.
I don't live here.
I don't mean your homestead
metaphor.
doorstep. You still have a doorstep at your door, sir.
Fair enough. Yes.
It'd be nice if you lived here, though. Well, such close proximity to the rest of the gem garden.
We'll sort of like look each of you over appraisingly.
We are you lot. You may not have heard of us yet, but we are the up-and-coming best. Yes, it's true. We did best the Riverlurks.
You are you lot.
Precisely.
Intriguing. I believe that my lady would indeed have something that might be interesting to you. The Fets.
So might my lady, point back to lady, and I'll laugh at myself.
I'll wink at you.
Continue, sorry. Sometimes I can't help myself.
I've gotten that impression, yes.
This is both Rachel and Gramps that throw back their head and laugh.
A sort of yes, most of the preparations for the fete are well underway, and in fact, we are aiming to hold this sort of debutante party for my lady in 2 nights. There is one particular entertainment, shall we say, which the more strictly minded authorities might object to. My lady has already arranged for it to be brought to the port here. It would merely be a matter of conveying it from the port to
From
my
port
lady's
to fetch without being seen.
Yes, to my lady's manor in Stonefall, without the Silvers or any of the rest of those straight-laced, shall we say, types knowing about it.
Do you want this to be done before the party, or is it already in port?
It is already in port, but the night of. Currently, the ships have the ability to maintain the freshness of the goods, but it will be harder at the manor.
Sounds simple enough. What's the offer here?
It would be, I'm trying to remember, I think a standard job is 6 coins. And so let me just, so I don't have to go look that up right this second, it would be paying you a standard, decent paying job. I think that's either 6 or 8 coins. It would be a smuggling job, which improves your crew's experience track. Not that that's part of his offer, but above the table. And he'll say,
He pulls out a clipboard. He's like, "We'll improve your experience track, and we'll."
And I believe that if you were able to successfully complete this, transfer this into the fete, I would see no reason that you could not attend the fete, at least.
Oh, that's what I was going to inquire about, actually.
With the servants and the other contractors who have been performing, I will be overseeing that.
Do we get party favors?
Snort a little bit.
Is that code for something, or?
It can be.
Gramps.
Sorry. No, I just wanted to know if there were any interesting things at the party.
Well, there will be the best food prepared by the best houses of the Gem Garden. There will be entertainments. There will be, of course, you will be somewhat off to the side, but I'm sure it will be an enjoyable time for you lot. I'm not trying to be insulting.
That is our name.
It's not. I think it sounds agreeable. Mook and lady, thoughts?
Are there any concerns during the transport? Extra fragile?
You're a
Need to
thinker.
be handled in a particular way?
How
large? Heavy?
2 standard crates. We're going to assume that there's the equivalent of sort of a standard crate size, so large. But you or Gramps would easily be able to carry most standardly sized crates. Not particularly heavy. The items involved should be well packed. However, delicacy would be appreciated. Less running from people screaming at you, firing weapons. More gently gliding into the manor, shall we say?
Noted.
Have to know. You keep saying my lady.
Indeed.
I've heard she's a duchess. I've heard she's a baroness. I've heard she's something.
Yes. There's been some confusion because she only recently arrived in this city. Duchess Lilius Blogg is my lady's name and title.
Perfect. Thank you. Mook, what are your thoughts?
A pleasure to meet you, Mook.
Oh, did you not say your name and Gramps just wasn't paying attention?
Yep.
100% that is what he would do. So
Yeah, well, because, Mook was trying to be, kind of enigmatic and in the background, stealing food off of people's plates as it went by. And as you said that and said Mook, you'll see me look up and be shoving something in my mouth. I'm like, good.
Yes, the shrimp rolls were quite good.
Yeah.
Will those be there at the fete?
Yes.
Okay, then we're in. It's a deal.
In the background, you hear like 3 people go, yes, and someone go, aw.
Outstanding. I will. I assume you have a source where I could provide you the relevant details for the ship and the slip number and the address to deliver the goods to at some point? Or
Like,
shall I...
this is a
Would that source just be me right now, or is it just like tell him where? Like, how do we?
Essentially, you would
do
just
this?
tell him some kind of information drop. This could either be handled through one of your contacts, though that then lets them know that the job exists. Depending on how you feel about it, you could tell him where your hideout is.
no.
I just like,
I'm just
no.
trusting, but not that. By the way, has anything? I know he hasn't said anything weird. Has anything he said to me been a lie? Or has it all been straightforward about the Duchess, but that being her title, all the other things? Is this a lie?
Right, I forgot that you have the ability where you know if anyone lies about anything.
Anyone is lying to me.
I am trying to be honest when I say I don't think so.
Okay.
If there was anything, it was not around like any of the big stuff. There, like, I don't remember if he said anything like jokingly that would have triggered oh, that's a social lie, or if there was anything like social niceties that might have triggered as a lie. But I will 100% say, without me having memory for that conversation, anything that would have been very firmly in the like, I'm so overjoyed to meet you. No, he is not overjoyed to meet you. But it wasn't like, oh, he doesn't work for this woman, or oh, that's not her name.
I just need to start being, is that a lie? Is that a lie? Is that a lie? Every time you say it to me.
Sounds like an ability I should have. Is this true? Do I trust him?
Fantastic. So how about, when do you want to give the information?
I believe that the details should be settled tomorrow night, leaving you that night and then the day after to prepare, and then execute the movement and transport that night.
Then I suppose I shall see you again tomorrow night, Cedric. We'll be becoming
Indeed.
fast friends.
I'm sure. That's a lie. He will once again shake
You see the smile twitch down just a little bit.
Somehow I always picture, in the thing where it's like, especially more anthropomorphized characters, like often their ears express emotions. For some reason, I just picture like Gramps' horns droop slightly, even though they shouldn't be able to. Just like,
oh, right. Oh, just a saggy horn.
He'll stand.
Enjoy saying that. Wow. That's a phrase that I should
that's a whole new phrase that I hate. Thanks.
It's a terrible
thing.
He will stand. He will shake lady's hand. He will sort of bow slightly formally in the direction of Mook. And then he will move away.
Oh, so we just took over his table and he's the one leaving?
Well, he was done. It seems like he was done with the tasting, the impression that you would have gotten, was that the house attendant who was there had sort of gotten the order that he then wanted and was going and maybe was finalizing details. But given that they have not come back at any point, probably not. Mook, I'm going to say, as he's moving away, you are very attentive. You are very sort of clued in to watching things. Mm-hmm. This man moves with an immense amount of grace and precision. Not at a level you would expect from a servant. This to you speaks of extensive training, either militarily or it could be various sources. It's nothing necessarily like violent, but there is just a control and a precision in his movement that is not likely to be found among most valets.
He glides.
Noted. And I wrote it down too. Look, I have a pencil.
Nice.
Sorry, Elise.
I still don't have a pencil. It's fine. I always take notes in pen. It's just a matter of Spire stuff that I have to keep track of. GM stuff.
So were we left at the table?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look around and say, is there any food left? And see
There are
if
still
anybody
3 other
responds.
small tasting plates in front of you.
Yes. I'm gonna eat them. I mean, I'll kindly offer them to the others around me too.
I'll take a couple pieces now that he's gone.
But yeah, I'm gonna just definitely eat those.
Mook has 100% been like swiping food from trays.
Right.
as
Oh
people
yeah,
go
I've
by,
got
so.
snacks in my pockets.
Yeah, so at this you can head back, you can report what you found. I
mean, I'll probably tell the others that I'll meet them back at the hideout later and go spend some time in the gem garden again. So
okay, this will not count as a indulging
No.
your vice. You don't have a downtime, but so yeah, I will say Mook and Lady return, and I suppose at least a plurality of you were there. And report good news. You're going to be smuggling things into Duchess Lilius Blog's fete 2 nights from now.
I was gonna say, or at least 3 of us are.
Or at least 3 of you are. Good news for you, Mix, is that this is a smuggling job where very specifically you're not supposed to be seen. So
Great.
good. For you, Hux, this does sound like even if you're only there sort of with the servants at the fete, this would be a very good opportunity to potentially find out more of whatever the hell was going on between those 2 nobles and why a bounty might have gotten involved, why Costa could have gotten dragged into this, etc. So you do have some sort of upside that's not just the job itself, if that makes sense. And I would say, given that we are at about 8:30, we're going to aim for around 3-hour sessions. Let's go ahead and take our break here. Coming back, you can define, I will give you the last bits of information, and then you can define the details of your plan. How are you going to get it from the docks to the party? What's your plan there? And then we'll roll from there.
This session is just the actual like planning of we're getting the information for the job and picking it and putting stuff together.
No, we're probably going to run the job as well.
Oh,
There's-
fuck me.
There's very little planning. As soon as basically one of you says a detail, I'm like, good, that's your detail. We're going. Like, this was, again, the system Blades in the Dark is designed to minimize the amount of time you spend planning. One of my directives as a GM is you tell me the detail, which in this case, it's a smuggling job, is the route and method of transit. I assume you perform as well as you can given that detail. And then we figure out from there. It doesn't mean that things don't go wrong. It doesn't mean that there aren't complications and all of that. But you don't have to be like, oh, shit, there's actually 6 patrols here normally that, oops, we just, it doesn't have that thing that you get in D&D heists where you're like, oh, because we didn't sit there and stake it out for 8 days, we don't know X, Y, or Z thing, and that bites us in the ass. I assume you are sort of competent at what you're doing. We pick a detail, and then it can have wrinkles.
And that's where he messed up, folks. He assumed we were confident.
So, ready? We're going to take probably about a 15-minute break. We'll be back at about 8:45 Mountain, 10:45 Eastern. Hang in there. Hope you're enjoying it. We're having fun. It's really good to be back playing some tier. Yeah, we will see you soon. Bye. Hello, everybody. We are back. In the first half, honestly, we recapped quite a bit because it's been a hot minute. So we went back over how we got to this particular juncture, and then the U-Lot gang. It's really hard to like start that off. It's great in direct address. Third person reference are difficult. This U-Lot,
The gang you lot.
It
carried
sounds like it's all one weird word, though.
Yeah.
Gang-u-lot.
the Gang-u-Lot.
Gang you lot.
I'm pretty
My
sure
gang-u-lot's
that it's
acting up. Oi!
either that or it's something you
Oy
caught from
vey.
the gem garden.
Right.
Yule lot. There we go. We're now a Christmas gang.
Oh.
Essentially decided to see if there were any jobs in relation to this mysterious new noble in town, the Countess or Duchess, alternately, Lilius Blog. They managed to meet with the Lady Lilius's, seems like sort of a valet or some other type of attendant who was arranging lots of the houses in the gem garden to provide goods and services for the fete. They did manage to convince him to give them a job, which, to be fair, did not seem to be exceptionally difficult, and a smuggling job, moving some things in from the docks that need to be there the night of the party to maintain freshness, according to what Cedric said. And so, yeah, as the group is maybe coming back to share the news around this, I think Hux wanted to say something to Mix.
So to kind of set the scene just a little bit, we've only been in this abode for like, a handful of days at this point, right?
Oh, it's been like a day and a half.
Okay, yeah, not long. So, Hux is kind of, nervously going around, putting things where he thinks they should go, picking them up, putting them in another place because it didn't feel quite right. Really trying to make this something that like feels comfortable to him, and what he envisions would be comfortable to everyone, making it a den of sorts. And as he's doing this, he's throwing like nervous also glances towards Mick, who I'm interested in, like, what is Mick doing right now? Just like fucking with recipes and stuff?
Yeah, probably pretty normal mix things like tinkering with little things, refilling. I know that technically we've already done that phase, so, not for mechanics in the game, but for,
Narrative purpose, yeah.
narrative purposes, yes, like refilling vials or, tinkering with stuff and kind of, yeah.
Restocking
Definitely-
grenades.
Yeah, restocking grenades, things like that.
So, when did explosive become your first resort?
I mean, talking was my first resort. I didn't just like explode somebody. I mean, I did, but I didn't like, it wasn't like I saw him and I exploded him. It was like there was talking, and then I was like, oh.
There was fiddling with a
see.
demitasse cup in between.
So, you talked to someone. It didn't go so well. And then things went boom.
I already told you he was fucking racist.
True. I guess, I've known you for a while, here and there, not all the time, but the one thing that I know about you might make things go boom, but somehow you always get
You could always what?
you always get out of it. It's like you somehow, some way, Mix doesn't get caught up in them.
I'd be a pretty shitty leech if I got caught up in my own explosions.
I meant insofar, a boom. Yeah, there's physical destruction, but like there's also the attention it grabs, and somehow you also evade that. I guess what I'm trying to get at here, I don't know if all of us have ability. Really, I'm concerned that there's gonna be talking. It's gonna right, and then you're gonna get out fine, but then maybe one of us don't.
I'm not gonna leave you for like dead in a circumstance where like something gets wrecked. Like wrecking things is what I do for this crew. It's not just for me. I mean, in this case, in Stonefall, is that was personal. But when we're on a score, it's not going to be like mixing nothing. I'm out. Like,
I respect that, but I spent a lot of time going from pack to pack. Spent a lot of time between not having place. Oh, found something along the way. Think kind of ties me to each of those places and people, and I use it as something that prompt. And well,
And he kind of reaches into his pocket.
found this along the way, and while the ink over time it fades, I think I like it's still theirs to me.
And it's just a little stamp. And he like motions for you to give your hand over.
Mix does.
So you promise that when things go boom, you're not just gonna get out of there instantly. You're gonna make sure that everyone's okay in our pat.
Are you my fucking dad now? Like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure everyone's fine. I don't understand. When have I ever just like left you for dead? Like,
I just have these concerns, okay? That I haven't always had a pack. Sometimes things have gone wrong. Sometimes people have been left. I just need this assurance, okay? Dude, please do this for Hux. Do it for me.
And then he like makes sure you're okay with receiving a stamp.
yeah.
Well, here.
He like dips it in the ink, and then
Sorry. This is. This means a lot to me that you'd be willing to take my tramp stamp.
Seriously, all of that you did that for.
Thank you, Mick.
as you stamp your tramp stamp on Mix's hand. Yeah, some like I think her
That
sleeve
expression
falls.
has no other meaning to Hux, by the way.
Of course not. Her sleeve falls back a bit, and the swirls of like I'm imagining that her like half air genasi, like the designs on her skin, are not are not permanently etched in certain spots. They move.
Yeah, no, I think that's
with
beautiful.
her, especially with her like emotions, and there is a storm of swirling happening under the stamp, and she just kind of goes back to tinkering.
Thank you, Galway.
Yeah. The other three return. They provide that there is a job. Details will be coming tomorrow evening. Gramps, you essentially just arranged a dead drop with Cedric, so he can drop information. You can pick it up asynchronously. You do that, and we can sort of skip ahead to that. You need to, at Dockslip 32, you'll be getting 2 largest crates from a vessel called the Darkwater Clipper. You will be delivering it to Lilius Blagg's manor, which is on the northwestern edge of Stonefall. It's actually on the coast. There will be 3 red lanterns at the jetty for the manor. So that will be how you'll be able to identify it. And he also, notes underneath, like, also a party. So that will be where you're delivering to. On the map, you'll be moving from essentially, I'm not defining your route by any means, but just to show you where you're going to be. I love that these little symbols that I have for this are just far enough away to be useless. The little dot in sort of the eastern side of Portside is where the ship is. And up here is where the manor is from the depiction. One thing I will say is that the northern part of this route is very close to the lightning barrier on the water. So pros and cons. Pros.
But is it obviously like sailable since there's a boat docked there?
Yes, it is. And you could be within the lightning barriers the entire way getting there. It would just be a thing that you would need to navigate, given that you're pushing out towards the ocean at that point. This isn't purely canal and river. If you took that northern route, you could also try to, dip back south, follow the coast more, etc. There can be pros and cons. And honestly, that's sort of the detail that you're looking at now. You can feel free to ask me questions about pros and cons of different routes, different methods, etc. I'm assuming you're going to go by boat instead of trying to carriage it across like 5 different bridges.
The 2 bridges that connect Portside to Fedborough, are they solid bridges, or do they like kind of like ferry up and down? Like, would we be able to go under them?
Those are both solid bridges, but there's easily enough clearance for your boat to make it underneath there. Large shipping would stop at Portside.
Is it normal for boats to go that route?
Yes.
Okay, so we wouldn't be sticking out.
No, your very presence there would not necessarily stick out.
Okay.
Do people, go out on boats for parties? Like we could be could we blend in if we were just a group of people having a party on a boat? Would
That
that
sounds
be
like fun. Let's
abnormal?
do that.
You certainly could. That might be more applicable in some of the nicer districts or around the Gem Garden. Let me put it this way. That certainly wouldn't cover the port side part of things particularly well. And here I'm just offering you information of like, yes, in the world, this would be potentially better, potentially worse.
Yeah. I was thinking, about if we went between Portside and Fenborough, that would still look pretty out of place.
You could maybe sell it at that point.
Okay.
I'm afraid that might bring undue attention to us, though.
Yeah. I would agree.
I mean,
I was just thinking if it was a busy area with, then that might blend in, but
With the planning since we're smugglers, I feel like 99% of the time we're going to pick transport and name our route.
Pretty much,
right?
yeah.
Like, haven't we kind of... Okay.
So the main thing that we're looking for here is, I'd sort of assume that this is going to be a transport job. And then the question is what is the route you're trying to take? The most direct would be essentially to go due west across the north end of Portside over to Stonefall. That has the disadvantage of you're moving through the port and you're very close to the open ocean.
Right. I guess I'm also just thinking in terms of like future jobs and things. Like this is our niche. And is that this is just meta questions. We don't have to do this. Okay. The other piece of them would be then like for the planning stage, like are these if we're picking the transport route section or detail thing, then like picking the route doesn't necessarily need to come with what our deception is going to be because we're not choosing a deceptive route.
Absolutely. You can go with wherever it's more just, as they describe it, the route and the means. So like I said, I kind of skipped over this, but like, I assume you're not renting a carriage or a cart and doing an overland route, which is obviously a different means and requires a different route. You could also always mix media it. You could, leave your boat stashed on the south side of Portside, cart/carry the crates there, then get on the boat and move your way along, or you could try to do it waterborne the whole time.
Okay. Thank you
the
for...
map is accurate, though, right?
Yes.
So, like, on the map where it's got, like, the straight lines and everything, those are channels?
Yes, those are the canals.
Of water? Okay, so we would have to go, like, quite a bit out of the way and still have to take some sort of boat unless there's, like, walk paths, like, across these channels if we tried to do a land route.
There are small bridges across the channels. I left out the smallest bridges because when I put them in, it just made the map look like an absolute god-awful mess.
And we are doing this in the evening. Well, it's
Correct.
all nighttime,
it's all nighttime, but yeah.
But right. So Mook would suggest to do the water route. That is Mook's suggestion.
And I did draw this across land, but it meant to go through the water. These are our
Gramps is
options,
only
essentially.
half paying attention and just telling people that whatever they think sounds fine. But every time anybody suggests anything, he'll be like, that sounds like a great plan. Regardless of if it's like the land plan or the water plan or the whatever.
He responds to this once when asked if he'd like a sandwich.
Right. Sounds like a great plan, yes. Just Gramps is the face. Or like a face type thing of just interaction and planning and other stuff. He's like, yeah, you guys got this, right? I'm here for you when you need me.
I think the water route.
And I think somewhat direct.
So like the blue line I drew, can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then we don't
like the blue line.
I mean, that's pretty much the only direct that wouldn't involve land. The pink one wasn't supposed to cut across Portside land. That was a mistake. I drew too fast. That would have been a water.
I see you. you did mean it cut across it for the part where you go north to get the
Yes.
cargo. I was like,
But then back down south, back to
and
the
then
thing,
around.
and then
Yeah.
around. Yes.
The only other route I could see, just thinking about this with you all slightly, is essentially the first part of the blue line, then almost doubling back down around south to go to
In
the
order
pink
to
line.
avoid
Cutting
going
across
outside the
as
lightning
much of
barrier.
port side and getting as close to the lightning barrier. But yeah, if you're going water routes, that would be about it. The only other thing I guess that could be is you could theoretically also stow your vessel in that northernmost sort of canal and then do the last little bit over land if you wanted to. I'm not saying there's a reason to do that. I'm just like, in the actual permutations of this before going into, you could also tour all of the islands and Stone's Heart. And like, yes, we get it. There's an infinite number of permutations, but it's like, that would be the last thing. You could finish the journey on land if you wanted to. You don't have any indications from Cedric that that would be easier.
Right.
I would say water route, and that with our sailing experience, that we're not afraid of, being that close to the open ocean. As long as we know the boat can handle it. And
A boat that I pilot can handle anything.
oh, aren't you like the special piloter of this boat too? Like the boat responds better to you than anyone else, something like that?
I don't think we actually ended up taking that one, did
Yeah,
we?
I think
Yeah,
we
I don't
did
think
end
so.
up going with that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that
I'm just
the
being
most
a braggart sailor. That's all.
I appreciate that part.
And so just one more time clarifying, Galway, the going north of port side, we would be in and out of the lightning barrier, or we're not sure.
You should not have to cross the lightning barrier. Okay. You very much do not want to cross the lightning barrier.
Right. Okay.
So it is not as if you look at it that you would have to look, necessarily we're having to go outside it. You're just skirting very close to it.
Okay. Yeah, I think the port, like north of port side direct route via water is probably our best bet.
I'm also just going to very quickly turn on the Roll20 share, which will block us all, but allow people to see the routes that we have been discussing. And it looks like it is going to be this sort of first blue route, arcing up and around over the top, trying to follow the most direct line possible, skirting close to the lightning where possible. Very good. So with that detail, let's everybody go ahead, and I will say, for context, we're gonna roll from the end of this score, i.e. you delivering the thing successfully, directly into you being at the party. So vis-a-vis what loadout of gear, how heavily, weighted down you want to be, that will come into play some with that. But we have your detail. What loadout does everybody want?
I think I'm going light.
Okay. Which means you can carry 1 to 3, but you're faster, you're less conspicuous, and you blend in with a citizen if you need to.
Yeah.
Normal would get you 4 to 5, but then you look like a scoundrel and are ready for trouble. 6 is heavy, you are slower, you look like an operative ready for a mission. 7 to 9 is bad. You're over encumbered and you cannot move anything except move very slowly.
I think Mix will go normal.
Okay.
I think I'll go light.
Okay.
And we do not have to choose what we're bringing
Correct.
right now.
That is one of those things of you can read and react and you're like, oh shit, this happened. Now I really want like the cutlass. Cool. We mark off that much load. We keep moving.
Which is everybody. So I see that it says items. The italics don't count for load. Okay. So for some of those, okay, sorry. The gray box I thought was the thing that didn't count for load, but within the gray box, there are some things that are specifically italic and specifically, okay.
Oh.
I got it. I'm just gonna say right now that Gramps has a cane sword as one of his items because he wants to look dapper as fuck.
And
So.
dangerous.
Yes. So I'm just gonna select cane sword.
I like how Rachel's like, I know that I get flexibility. I don't care.
No,
I'm doing
cane
this
sword.
for the
He has that.
aesthetic. I don't care what its stats are.
Yes. This is me. I don't metagame things to be like, no, it has to be this, and we'll fix it right. I'm like, no, what's the thing that could be cool? It's fine. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
Mook will take light.
And Hux?
Will also take light. Do I have to tell you what I've chosen?
No. That's
Okay.
it's just that's how many things you can end up picking while you're doing the score. Very good. So with that, you have selected your items. You have, or your loadout rather. You have the detail. You are taking the blue path north, up, and around. Let's go ahead and make your engagement roll. So this is a fortune roll. It starts with 1 die for sheer luck, and then we modify the dice pool for any major advantages and disadvantages that apply. I'm just going to talk through these quickly because I think it's a good thing for us to get in the habit of, and if people listening can sort of know what these look like. Is the operation particularly bold and daring? If so, you take +1. If the operation overly complex or contingent on many factors, take -1. I'm going to go ahead and give you a +1 from this one. I feel like you've chosen a very direct route, even though that comes with its share of risks, but it's simple, clean, sail up, around, over, in, we're done. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? Take +1 die. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have a particular defense or special preparations? Take -1 die. I had said this to some of the players. After you all picked Smuggler as your class, I was looking like, oh, cool. How do you set up smuggler jobs and blah, 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 and found a litany of posts in like Blades in the Dark Reddit and forums that are like, man, the smuggler crew is just really hard to set up jobs for, and like a bunch of the mechanics seem really weird. And this is where we hit one. Your detail doesn't really play into that precisely. Like I could, but it's not that people are necessarily actively looking for you. I'm going to say that it's neutral there. It's neither particularly strong nor particularly weak. Any friends and contacts provide aid or insight for the operation, 1 die. If there are enemies and rivals interfering in the operation, take -1 die. For reasons that we're going to get to, I'm going to say that ends up being 0 dice. Other elements you want to consider: maybe a lower tier target gives you +1 die, higher tier target gives you -1 die, situation in the district that makes the operation more or less tricky. Let's go ahead and add another die for that, because I feel like there's actually a lot of chaos more focused internally in Stonefall. So like people's intention is a little more turned inward than people trying to come in from the outside. So I think you're going to be making a fortune roll with 3 dice.
Now, is this individual fortune rolls
No,
or our
the crew?
The crew. Okay.
Yeah. This is essentially Blades in the Dark is jump right in. We don't have to play the everybody make the stealth roll, time out the guards, watch this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know, the result of this is going to tell you, are things going well, badly, what?
So only one of us needs to make that
Correct.
Who rolls high?
Not me.
I don't know. the
Rachel's
last
like,
time I
Jesus God,
rolled.
no.
Can I roll the dice that Heather made me last year? Or?
Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna play a game one time where somebody lets me take like a dark pact as a warlock, and I can use those dice but have a negative effect that piles up every time I use them. Anyway.
Absolutely. Just remind me of that.
I
and
did the
will,
thing. I rolled us a 4.
You added 3 die?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
3,
That's my
1,
next tier
4.
character
Mixed
always.
results. You're in a risky position when the action starts. So we're going to go ahead, though, and say that you're sort of in and at the first real obstacle of this. You've made your way north, up and around Portside. You are loading cargo at the Darkwater Clipper. The first crate You've sort of gone, you flash the signal to the crew members on board. They lower down the first crate on a winch. You're getting that stowed. The second one is coming in. So the second crate is up on this sort of loading crane. It's above your ship, or above your boat. You're all in your boat. You hear a bit of a commotion on the deck above you. And you hear it's a shout, but it's not a particularly angry shout, though it is quite commanding. You hear, "Stop what you are doing by order of the Justicars."
Directed towards us?
No, directed towards the crew on the deck.
Oh.
The Justicars are not the Silvers. The Silvers are essentially the town guard. Highly corrupt, vicious, etc. The Justicars report directly to the Emperor. They ignore the authority of the Silvers. They ignore the authority of the Lord Mayor. Pretty much everyone fucking hates them. Because they just report to the Emperor. They are also compared to the Silvers, who are essentially a vicious criminal gang cutting out their own set of turf. Pretty incorruptible, generally. It is not a good thing for a criminal organization if the Justicars are involved. And now, with the other half of your cargo suspended about 20 feet up, what would you like to do?
Does it seem like the cargo is noticed by the Justicars? Like, or because it's like 20 feet off the side of the boat, or is it?
It's very close to the side of the boat. It's just that it's a large sea vessel, so it has a ways to come down to you.
I just wasn't sure if it was noticeable to them or if we could
It's hard for you to say. It is certainly possible that it isn't. From where you are, you can't see anything really that's going on. You do still see the operator of this winch standing by it. He's sort of pivoted to look behind him at the call that he heard from behind him.
I want to just motion at him to just...
Is he still letting it down, or has he
he's
stopped?
frozen for a moment.
Do we want to just let this play out? Should we... Is anybody good at climbing and they could get it? That's probably a stupid suggestion.
We should either try to get it or cut our losses. This is the Justicars.
But we need this.
We would know that,
we need to
right?
get into that party.
Yes, absolutely. What I said is something that each of you would know.
We
I need
definitely
shrimp
need
puffs.
both crates, right?
The order was for 2 crates.
How
we already have
delicate is
one,
the
you
stuff
said?
inside?
Yeah, how
What'd you
big
say,
is the
Elise?
crate? I'm sorry, Elise, I missed your question.
How delicate is the stuff inside?
We don't know, just that we are supposed to be very careful with it.
Yeah, I didn't quite ask what it was we were transporting. That's a good question to put on the list for next time.
How
better
far
not.
away from
learning.
our boat is the crate?
Maybe a grand total like 15, 20 feet up above you.
Oh,
It's directly over you. Like this is,
Right.
lowered.
But that's like still too high to like throw a knife and cut the rope and let Gramps catch it, right? I mean, like
Take a blanket, let it drop.
I'll let you try.
I mean,
I
that's
know
what I was
you
thinking
will.
too.
Could we let it fall into the water and then just retrieve it?
No, it's
Water.
we'd have to
Okay.
reposition.
Oh.
What?
So it's
Yeah.
20 feet up from us?
Yeah.
Yep, 15 to 20.
What if I hold Lady on my shoulders? And then maybe
How
Hux
heavy?
can
How
climb
heavy
up?
is the one that's already
then-
in the boat?
Gramps or Lady, maybe Hux can sort of carry it on their own. It's probably too heavy for you or Mook to lift it on your own.
Definitely not Mix. 100% too heavy for Mix.
Would it
Mixed,
smash
nah.
us if it dropped on us?
Probably not.
Can we see what's happening on their deck?
You can now see lights indicating that there's like some movement, and people are with probably lanterns are moving closer. You can hear sounds, but like if it's, you're basically right up against the hull, and then the deck is about 20 feet up. So it's a large ship.
Was the voice close? Like if we called out softly to the guy that was working the winch, do we think we'd be heard?
It definitely sounded like that was on the other side of the deck, coming from the dock.
Okay.
Onto the
Lady's gonna drop the fucking load. Just not loudly.
right,
Up at the person controlling the winch.
Yeah.
Just tell him to drop it.
Yeah.
Gramps will ready himself.
Yeah, I think that's an action roll. What action is that?
Oh, let me check what I have. Okay. Written.
So you're sort of just trying to call up to him. Drop it, drop it, drop it.
I think it would be, oh God. It sounds like command. Because, yeah, that's the only thing I can really see. I can't, oh no, I don't want to do sway.
Command
I guess,
sounds right to me too.
Yeah, command obedience with your force
Mix
of personality, intimidate or threat.
Hold up another smoke bomb in her hand and be like, I mean, it worked last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very good with a command roll. It's going to be risky because you're in a bit of a dangerous position and normal effect, I would say. You could push yourself to increase the effect, or we could come up with a devil's bargain for you that can increase your effect.
Okay, now if I push myself, I take stress, right?
Correct.
Okay. I will be happy to push myself to get this to go. Okay, so I click command. And risky position, you said?
Risky position, and then this would be greater effect now if you've pushed yourself. Or whatever the equivalent of it is. Sorry, I always forget.
There's standard, limited, greater.
Greater.
Oh, wait, standard, great. Okay.
Great.
And okay, and then one bonus die because I pushed myself.
The pushing yourself was to get the greater effect.
Okay. So no bonus dice. I was gonna say, anyone want to help?
Yeah, I mean, would it make sense?
Because I have one die.
Would it make sense in this moment for like Hux to have his spirit animal like cause like a barking distraction, like, on the actual dock itself, like just to divert attention the moment it drops, so they maybe don't hear the drop happen?
I certainly take that as a help action with you taking one stress then from that.
Cool. Yeah, I'm happy to take a stress for that.
Okay. So 2 dice then.
Two
or one
dice.
bonus die. Okay. Please.
Double
2
fives.
5s.
Oh, nice.
Risky. You do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer harm, a complication occurs, you have reduced effect, you end up in a desperate position. Yeah, so we're gonna say that you sort of like hiss up, drop it, just drop the cargo. As that happens, you sort of hear the bar from sort of echoing weirdly, almost phasing in and out of, this reality versus the ghost field. You try to think of how to sort of tie this all together. He begins lowering it, and then he essentially gets startled by the dog barking / the Justicars are moving closer. So he's just gonna flat out release the winch the rest of the way. And that because you were the
Gramps
one.
is ready to catch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I know that you were the one that had been sort of that you were taking the action though, so you were trying to get it aligned so it was gonna drop with Gramps ready to catch. I'm gonna say it's gonna sort of slam into you though because it wiggled. So currently you would take a level 1 harm of like sprained shoulder. You can resist, however, if you wish to.
Is there time for someone else to react to this? Because I could possibly do something that would help. But this may be like fallout of something that's already happened, which I totally get.
It's meant to be fallout of things that are already happened, though you can protect people from certain types of, or from their complications. Trying to find where that is. Resistance roll.
I forget how resisting works. I know resisting just negates the effect, but then is it we take stress?
You roll a number of dice equal to the relevant resistance, which for you, because this is like a thing physically bashing into you, would be prowess.
Okay.
And then it's 6 minus your highest die of stress. So if you roll a 6, you take no stress. You roll a 1, you take 5 stress.
Okay. And otherwise I have a level 1 harm.
Yep, which will just reduce your effect when you try to do things. You're in pain, you're distracted.
And with the protect thing, like, is that something like, is that like a very specific mechanic of like, I take the harm instead, or can I take an action that isn't just like throwing my body in the way? Because
the protect is you suffer the consequence instead, but you can resist it as normal.
Okay, that's, yeah, I mean, there's something very specific I'm trying to do here, and I don't think that's achieving that goal.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'll resist. Why not?
Okay. So you're going to go ahead and resist. I'm going to say that this will just negate the harm from it. Like, I'm fine with it goes away from you resisting. You automatically succeed in resistance.
Right.
So go ahead and roll your prowess.
Okay.
Which I think you can do by just clicking on the word prowess.
Okay. And no bonus dice. So I'm just rolling 1 die, right?
It should be 2.
Oh, yeah, it rolled 2. Okay, a 4. So I take
James
2
is
stress.
still just standing there holding his arms out now, like,
well, and you caught like half of it. It was off enough that it didn't like drop into your arms. It was like out here, so a bit of it sort of bounced towards lady. Very good. With that resistance, you take a couple of extra stress. You sort of jump out of the way of it. You sort of slam yourself into the side of the boat, but you're not hurt. You've got the cargo on board. Gramps gets it down. It wasn't too badly jostled. You can begin to make your way away. Running the vehicle is... I'm assuming you're wanting to move stealthily. Given that would be a prowl roll from whoever's sort of piloting the boat.
I can do it. It's still a risky situation, so.
Yeah, you're still risky. You'll have normal effect.
Damn.
4. So you succeed, but with a complication. All right. You're making your way away. You're trying to be stealthy, but also there's fucking Justicars on that ship. You need to go. You need to be away from that. So you are moving. You are maybe prioritizing speed over careful navigation / stealth. So you will get away from the Darkwater Clipper. But the complication that you are going to have is you essentially cut directly in front of another boat that's a small sort of river boat like your own that's making its way from a slip. And on it you will recognize a woman standing in it as I
The lady from our first thing.
Lynette.
Lynette Dalman.
Darner,
Darn.
one of the leaders of the Riverlurks. So your complication essentially is that she sees you. You can resist this, as ever, but that is the complication you are currently taking.
But
I mean, I'm 100%. I think we should absolutely resist this.
would a smoke bomb from Mix be enough to conceal?
I'm again in the same position of like I have tools that help, but these are fallout from already established events, right? And so I'm not sure what we want to do with that.
I think that, yeah, because of the way that sort of this Fallout system works, I think that this is Sam's to resist or someone else to step in and take that resist action. What I will say is the smoke bomb could be used immediately afterwards to sort of screen where you're going, especially if it's been resisted and she hasn't seen you. That will probably remove any chance that she sees you.
All right, yeah, I'm resisting, absolutely.
Okay.
And my hunch is that this is still going to be a prowl resist.
It's in whatever the category above prowl is. Prowess. Yes, it is a prowess resistance.
Prowless.
Can
Yes.
I help with resisting? Can you help with resisting?
You could throw something to like splash in the water across the boat.
I'm trying to
so that she looks
remember
away.
if you can.
Well, that would kind of fall in the same line as throwing a smoke bomb, I would think.
I think you can take the role for someone, but I don't think you can actually.
Can't actually help.
Yeah, I don't see anything around that. I'm going to rule right now you can't, and I will double check. Sorry, it has. I should have refreshed on the rules more.
It's okay. But you said on a resist, it's an automatic success. I just take stress.
No matter what, you succeed in what you were resisting. The consequence you were resisting was Lynette Darner going, "It's you fuckers. I'd like to have words with you."
Okay. And you cannot push yourself on a resist roll.
Correct, because you're just
All right, that's fine. All right. I still have, a couple in prowess, so unless somebody else has more than 2 pips in that first column of prowess. Okay.
I have
then
2.
I don't.
Yeah.
No, prowess. I have 3.
In the first line, you have, what do you have it in?
Finesse, prowl, and skirmish.
Oh.
Okay, so you're saying that Gramps could roll the resist?
basically, yeah.
Okay.
I can do it.
Yeah,
I
I
give
mean,
a
if
fuck.
you want, I mean, I have 1 stress. I'm not really freaking out about that,
I
but
have 3.
then maybe I should do it. I'll do it. It's fine. Rolling 2. Here goes.
I didn't fuck hard enough to get rid of my stress.
So 6 minus
I did
6 minus 3 is 3, so I'm taking 3 stress.
You will take 3 stress. Essentially, your resistance of this is, as you were looking away, you see this out of the corner of your eye, this ship coming out of the slip. You quickly turn the tiller enough that you're cutting away.
Yeah.
You think that you all still notice that this is Lynette Darner. You know that she's probably seen your ship, but she hasn't seen you. So, you would also suspect the fact that she's moving her ship out pretty quick means that she may well have heard calls of, "There are Justicars here. You know what she does. She's wanting to get the hell out of there." But yeah, you have successfully navigated that. You are continuing to sort of make your way along. If we're continuing just sort of sailing along, I think go ahead and give me one more prowl as you're kind of trying to guide the ship along, whoever is doing that. Remember, you can also use on a score so that someone could assist you to help.
I can assist if somebody wants to do, or
I have 3 pips in prowl,
I got the first one.
so
I don't know if my pips matter for
No,
assisting.
it's
but-
just an extra die from you helping. You'll take
Yeah.
1 stress for
Then
assisting.
fuck my pips. I'm just helping you.
What?
all right, okay.
Only one person can help, right?
Oh,
Correct.
And
I'm
say I
offering
can
to
help and
help.
not
Oh,
take
okay.
stress. So
oh, you can.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That is your spider ability.
yeah, I
Twice
just-
per
Well, then-
score.
Fuck yeah, I shove you forward. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So describe to me sort of what you're doing with helping, and oftentimes with this, it's things that it's almost like flashback like of like you've
Yes.
prepped for this.
Right. Now, pretend I wasn't completely spacing out what we were doing and what I offered to help with,
Yeah.
and tell me what I'm
Okay.
doing.
All right. So here's my thought. Like we obviously are in like a motorboat of some sort. Mayhap there's like debris in the water. So like maybe you're taking an oar and like pushing the debris out of the way so that we don't like ram into it or something.
Okay.
Seconds really
All right. So earlier in the day, Mook, I came across this ore that was like in our hideout, and it had etched into like the paddle. Awesome. And I was like, this is cool. Why do we have this? Maybe we should put this in the boat. And I was carrying it to the boat, and Huck saw it, and he's like, what is awesome? And I was like, it's a really cool saying. I think it's awesome. And I took it and I put it in the boat. So when I see all this debris in the water, I go and I reach for awesome. And I just start paddling it out of the way.
Mm. Beautiful.
Very good.
We can't possibly fail now. So it's
Nope.
still risky, right?
Still risky. Still standard effect.
Bonus die 1. 5.
Oh.
It was a 5.
My eyes, because I was looking at the dice, and at least on my screen, the 5 is at like the very lower corner. I was like 1, 3, 2.
Yep.
5. Success. But with some consequences or complications, which as the assisting party, Mook could also be subject to. Yeah, so you're navigating as best you can to keep moving away. You want to get away from the Justicars. You do behind you, Gramps and Mix, you're sort of watching behind you. You can now see arrayed on the dock several figures well behind you, but with lanterns. You can see the gleaming golden badge of a Justicar on them. This is a fair amount of Justicars in one place, which is a little bit concerning. Hux is doing a good job of making good time, not, sort of expertly weaving through these different vessels, debris. Your Mook, you are wielding awesome in an attempt to, make sure that you're not colliding with anything. The complication that I would say that's going to occur, you are being pushed out towards the lightning barrier. It's very subtle at first, but your course is taking you more and more out. And you can see in inky black water just arcing across it essentially eternal bolts of lightning, just sort of arcing from one tower to the other that extend up and down over the water and to fairly close above the water. It's not that this is directly putting you in danger. The complication, it's not actually a complication. It's your position moves towards to desperate. You're going to have one more sort of navigation roll. You're essentially pinned now up against this barrier that you do not want to cross. You have much less room to maneuver. Gramps and Lady, you are mariners. Shielding your eyes just a little bit out past the crackling blue light of the lightning barrier, you can see a slight ripple in the water, a shape just vaguely breaking the surface. Doesn't make you feel real good to see that. It's no Leviathan, but nothing lives in the water that you really want to encounter.
So we see something ripply and we're like...
Just a little bit. So you know that you're pushing towards this. Yeah.
We do not want to cross that barrier.
Can you describe the barrier? Like, is it... Because I see, like, the little icons on the map, and that makes me envision they're, like, these giant totems, and then in between these totems is this, like, barrier? Is that...
More or less accurate, yeah. So if you picture, there are large towers that are stone, that within them, Mix knows very well, are complicated apparati that essentially constantly generate lightning, electricity. And they essentially just create an arc field from one tower to the next. And you can almost think of it like just bands of lightning continuously arcing back and forth.
Okay, now does this go below the surface of the water? Or, like, can these creatures come underneath if they swim deep enough?
Essentially, the presence of the lightning isn't just contact. It seems to affect the creatures of the Deathlands in some way. So it has an effect even below the water. So it's not, just electrifying the water around it.
Okay. Cool.
Yes, your desperate position is just that you've been forced up to near this, and two of you can see something out there that they don't like. Not, oh my god, we're about to fry. And go ahead and then give me one more roll to try to sort of keep the ship under control as you're getting in.
Let's go.
Do you want help again? Because I'll take another stress to help get you an extra die.
Well, I mean, can Mook just help out again and not take any stress?
Oh, but I only get it 2 times per score, so I mean, I'm not, like, against taking stress, but I only get this ability twice per score, and we haven't even made it to the party yet.
Well, I'll let you guys decide who wants to take 1 stress. I'm gonna roll the 4 because I think we need it.
I'll take a stress.
We are on desperate now, right?
And we are on desperate.
Yeah. Desperate effect standard.
Desperate effect standard.
Bonus die of 1, and survey says we got a 6, baby.
Woo!
Full success.
No lightning or monsters for us.
As oh.
You sound so disappointed.
Oh no, I'm not disappointed. I'm
just laughing because Rachel's wrong.
Oh,
yes,
no.
more or less. As you've started to move out and you've been making your way westward, right? As you've been doing this, this last roll that you're making is essentially as you're leaving the landmass of Portside and you're now into the flow of the river. as well. That picks up the current, which is pushing you out towards the tides. Lady, you essentially help by like just grabbing the tiller, and you are straining as you have been at sea. You are leaving Hux free to sort of focus on the movement of the ship and where he's trying to go. You just drop back into your time on the Leviathan Hunter. You are being pushed out further and further and further. And you and Hux kind of notice it at the same time. Actually, I'm also going to say Gramps, experienced seafarer. You feel that slight shift of you've gotten around that sort of last push of the current, and you're going to be able to make your way in. You are essentially, on the map you can see, at the base of the lightning tower. Elise, yes.
Mix throws a grenade at the lightning tower. I'm going to roll wreck.
What?
Why for?
What?
Like I'm gonna blow this shit up type of grenade, or like it's a smoke bomb grenade?
No, it's a grenade.
Gramps is going to look at you and say, "Why?"
This is.
I thought we were trying to be quiet.
I thought we weren't trying to die.
It's a great distraction. It's a great way to just leave.
We don't need a distraction at the moment.
It's too late. Mix has done it, y'all.
What the?
No, Gramps isn't saying don't. Gramps is saying why.
Yeah, I mean, y'all can tackle her to the boat deck after.
Oh, that's a great idea. She's throwing a grenade. That's the thing that you wanted to have remain on deck. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm laughing so hard.
Are you going?
Yeah. Yeah,
I
so
mean,
you're...
odds are great she's gonna chuck this straight into the water. Don't.
Okay, so this is a wreck roll, correct?
Yes.
What is your motive? What is your character's motivation?
It's a fucking tower, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna say it's a limited effect.
Yeah.
And we'll go with... I'm so torn between desperate and risky. You're throwing a fucking grenade at a thing that is keeping back a demon on the other.
I don't want to have it be bad, but it sounds desperate.
We were a desperate situation for being close to the lightning barrier.
Incidentally, Sam, you get to mark an experience in the prowess bar because you made a desperate roll.
It. Yeah.
Holy shit, snacks. Look, I leave it up to y'all. Do you want... Desperate will get mixed experience, so there is a bonus there. It also makes it worse if things go wrong. I think it's limited.
I feel like
desperate is what makes sense.
Desperate makes sense. Like this doesn't sound... Yeah, it sounds risky, but it also sounds freaking desperate.
It's not a thing we necessarily need, and it's out of nowhere, and the consequences are massive.
It's not. I agree. It's not necessarily desperate in the sense that like the situation is not what's making this desperate. It's mix, right? And so like I think that like in that sense, like what she's doing is the action itself is risky to no end. I'm saying like, you know, like in terms of the score, I'm not sure about the situation, right? Does that?
Yeah,
I'll take either, but I disagree. I think that yeah,
that's fine. I'll take. It's a desperate position.
I would say let's go with it's the desperate position because it's also mainly that you've got a barely controlled boat that you're flinging a grenade from. Like, to me, just the physical actions of this are on that side of the line.
Yeah.
So you will get to mark. So it is desperate limited effect. You are trying to wreck a lightning tower.
Yeah.
I can't wait until you fucking roll a critical. And I'm just like, well,
Yep. So, and then like, no, there wouldn't be bonus dice or anything. It's just,
you push yourself.
You can push yourself for bonus dice. I believe you can also push yourself for increased effect. You can also devil's bargain for those things.
And pushing myself, I would take stress.
Yes.
So you're
Yeah.
pushing yourself to get extra dice so you succeed in destroying the lightning tower.
You're throwing an extra big grenade.
It's gonna have a limited effect, y'all. It's not gonna like take this whole tower down. I mean, Bar and Galway decided that.
I don't think it's going to take the whole tower down. Gramps still does not understand why you did it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
So
everybody, we're all
I'm
concerned.
Same
not
with
saying
Sam.
like, oh, it's this or this. It's just like it seems legitimately out of nowhere, and he doesn't understand the reasoning behind it or the purpose of it, since the entirety of the thing was quiet. So that's all. It's just very like, I don't know what's happening or why. We didn't discuss this. Why is this? We were almost gone and out of the way. Why is this happening now when we had almost succeeded? That's where I am.
Okay, so you're pushing yourself for the extra die?
Yes.
Cool.
Is that
5.
3, 5, 2. So you succeed, but with a consequence. Damn. Severe harm, serious complication. You have reduced effect. You're already on limited effect. All right. This is a working port. Ships come in and out all the time. You throw the grenade as you sort of see Gramps go, what? Tracking the grenade as it goes back. It's going to sort of bounce on the tower. Good aim. You hit the tower with the grenade. You know a fair amount about these towers. You sort of knew where to aim it. You do see the lightning for just a second. Not flicker, stutter, shall we say. Not going away, just stuttering. This, you know that somewhere in there is a mechanism that is now damaged. The serious complication that will occur, though it can be resisted, that shape that you that Lady and Gramps saw will sort of pivot in this flash of light that illuminates a ship coming into port, and just begin making a beeline for it.
okay? I will resist that. I think that.
Okay.
And could this be done like essentially using like prowess to say like?
Yes,
It
I was gonna say
a finessed enough shot that it didn't like bring.
We'll keep it in the. It's in the wreck goes with prowess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is no bonus dice or anything. I'd have to push myself to get bonus dice.
Yeah. So you're gonna roll
Right.
prowess, and it's your highest -6. 6. You take no stress for resisting. In fact, what happens is it is not that the thing makes a beeline towards the ship that's illuminated. It makes a beeline towards the grenade, like where it exploded, and you will see just sort of this arcing crackle of lightning and a hideous shriek from the creature that has essentially rammed itself into a lightning barrier, and you'll see choppy, distorted waves as it's moving away very rapidly back out to the deep sea. And with that particular adventure and action, I will go ahead and say that you can safely pilot the boat in the rest of the way to where you see 3 red lanterns sitting on a dock outside. And I am sure there will be questions for Mix. I am sure there will be many shrimp rolls consumed, but that will happen next time as you all are at the party. Before we wrap up, do we want to quickly go through the experience for the characters?
Sure. Did Mix actually destroy the tower?
No,
Like,
God, no. It's
okay.
a grenade against a thing that's like multiple stories tall.
Okay.
Just destroyed or made it so that the lightning thing flickered and went out. a little bit,
A
right?
little bit,
ruined
like
some
it's-
sort of mechanism inside, but not
Yeah.
the entire.
Yeah. She did damage, but she didn't like even completely stop it or anything.
Okay.
So we've already covered during the game, every time somebody made a desperate action, you marked XP in that action's attribute. So that was 2, 1 for Hux and 1 for Mix. I'm not opening everybody's, but looking at currently Mook's, every time you address a challenge with, for you, calculation and conspiracy, you mark an XP. I kind of want to give, I would lean you get at least 1 there, for the very fact that in the entire meeting with Cedric, you were just trying to stay back and just watch.
Yeah. That was definitely my total goal on that.
Okay.
And definitely nothing else in my category.
Good. Who'd like to go next?
I would say mine is you addressed a challenge with knowledge or arcane power that my knowledge of seafaring allowed me to know how to handle the tiller to get us out of the
Yeah, I can buy that.
current.
I think that also expresses your background.
Yeah. Oh, you mean as another one or?
I'm good with y'all getting experience, honestly.
Cool. Okay. And there are pips, or there are the same kind of markers by prowess, resolve, those headings.
Yeah.
When do we tick those?
So anytime you make a desperate roll under one of those things, you take
Okay.
mandatorily that. Whenever you get this post one, you can either put it to your character sheet, which is the playbook advancement, or you could put it to one of those optionally.
Okay.
Completing playbook advancement lets you get one of your special abilities. Completing like a resolve would let you put a pip in attune, command, consort, or sway.
Okay.
There's the trade-off there.
Okay.
Who next?
I think Hux only gets 1, and something in between. I expressed my beliefs, drive, heritage, and background in the scene with Mix.
Yeah, what's your, when you solve a problem with?
You addressed a challenge with tracking or violence. I wasn't.
Okay, no. I couldn't remember if yours included like sneaking or like flight.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, tracking is the closest to sneaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't really do that. And then struggled with issues from my vice or traumas during the session. I mean, I don't necessarily feel like that I hit that, so I'll just hit the 1.
I can go.
Cool.
It says you addressed a challenge with deception or influence. I would say at least that it was my influence with finding the guy and getting the job and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I don't think I expressed my beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
Your
Unless
drives you sure expressed in the gem garden.
Different
And
drives.
My background, I helped with steering the ship and stuff. I don't know if that counts.
I'm
as,
good
like,
with that. Yeah, I'm good with you marking a pip on that.
And then I didn't struggle with issues for my vice because it wasn't a struggle. It was beautiful and intentional, and
It was a good off-screen time.
Consensual.
it was. Yeah, consensual. That was the word I could not think of.
Intentional,
Wow, Rachel.
consensual.
You mean the most important
Intentional.
thing
Right.
you couldn't think of?
What is it? I don't know. Consent. Okay, so I marked
Cunnilingus.
2. Cunnilingus, that's what he did. He expressed his consensual cunnilingus.
Elise,
That,
Mark your
that's-
experience so
that's
I can get
quote
us out
number
of here.
3.
And
Yes,
fantastic.
someone else has to
ratio.
write that one down because I did all of Rachel's.
So I definitely did mayhem. I don't know if that counts as addressing a problem. I think I created problems with mayhem, so I'm not going to take that.
100%.
But I would argue that that was both a struggling with issues about my vice as well as expressing my drives and heritage.
I think that works. I enjoy I didn't address a challenge. I created a challenge. Very good. Thank you so much, everybody, for playing. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I hope everybody had a great time. I certainly did. Glad to be back. I believe the next time we're going to be playing this is in 11 days on the 18th, scheduling permitting. But that's currently what we're intending. Coming up next week, we have... Fuck, I should know better about this, but I'm pretty sure at the very least we're playing Fates of Rin, maybe Spire?
Yep.
Fates of Rin, maybe Spire. As always, if you want to... follow us, get updates on that. Best place to do it is probably !Discord. Join our Discord where we post scheduling announcements, get go live notifications, etc. You can also, of course, follow us for free here on Twitch to get notified when we go live, and look for our social medias at HelpfulGoat. From everybody playing, or to everybody playing, thank you so much for playing. Thank you so much for taking time tonight. I tremendously enjoyed it as always. For everybody watching, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you had a great time. From all of us here at Helpful Goat Gaming, stay safe, be well, Happy New Year, because it's the first time I'm seeing you on this side of the new year. And we will talk to you again real soon. Love y'all.
Bye.
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 Happy